As a speech titled, apologies for the accent, I was asked to use it, Junkyard Dog to Plain Purdy. This is Junkyard Dog to Plain Purdy by Michael Dangerfield.
Four years ago, I hopped in my red Ford Ranger, 1997, drove it down to Home Depot, parked it in the morning. It's full of trucks. And I had one of the worst things can happen to a guy in Home Depot: truck envy. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at all these beautiful F-150s, 250s, 350s, and Ram trucks. Then I look over to my Ranger. It looks like a junkyard dog that's got disease. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't drive this anymore. Well, I'm going to go see Louie. Just right down the road from there is a big, huge auto repair center. I go on in. Now, I've known Louie, and he's one of the unique people in the United States. He's an honest mechanic. Yeah. And I said, Louie, just on your expertise, give me a guesstimate of how much it would cost to get my truck painted. And he says, sure, Mike. He wrote it on down and says, you know, I could buy a truck for this. And he says, well, here's what the problem is, Mike. You got to sand it on down all the way to pure finish. You got rust. You got to take out all that rust. You got a big dent. You got to Bondo it. And it's a lot of work, Mike. And I said, fine. What am I going to do? He says, well, what you need to do is, if you're going to do it yourself, you got to find a spray rig. Okay. Thanks, Louie. So I go on down to O'Reilly's. I'm talking to Gene. I said, Gene, where do I go rent a spray rig? He says, there's no spray rigs. You can't rent a professional spray rig. And I said, oh, okay. But he said, what we do is we sell this. And I said, are you kidding me? You're going to tell me spray paint my can with a spray paint gun or bottle? And he says, yeah, and you can do this. And I says, yeah, maybe. So I go home like any red-blooded person, and I go in and I Google it. And first of all, I see if I can find any spray rigs. None. And then I watch over 10 videos of them taking a car down, sanding it down to bare metal, and then spraying it. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm a builder. I can do this. So I get out, I build a spray room for my truck, and I start sanding, then Bondoing. Well, those that don't know Bondo, it looks like a big paste, and it dries almost as hard as steel. You got to grind it on down. So I'm grinding it, and then I'm sanding it, and I'm Bondoing it, and I'm grinding it, and I'm sanding it, and I'm Bondoing, and I'm grinding it. 1 week later, I'm ready. I tape it all off, ready to spray paint. And it's like, I'm so excited. I'm ready to go. And you always have a spray board to check out your paint. And I'm not going to hit the button. Okay? And I get out there on my board and I go, shh, splat. What? Oh, it's a defective can. Throw it out. Next can. Shh, splat. Throw it out. One more. Shh. Oh, it's going to work. I get there on my truck. Shh. Splat, 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 splat. Oh my God, I can't do this. I just won't work. Well, I had an emergency reserve. I didn't want to do this. I called Mel. Mel, yeah, Mike, what do you want? I said, Mel, can you paint my truck? Yeah, have you done any work on it, Mike? I said, yeah, I sanded it down. Yeah, you probably did a lousy job, Mike. I'll come on over here and I'll fix it all for you and paint it. Who's Mel? Mel is a friend of mine, and sort of. And underneath his crusty exterior is a crusty interior. And way down there is a little tiny heart of gold. And so one of the things that when you're working with Mel is that he is master. And you are definitely grasshopper. Okay. Mel comes on up, and so what he does is he pulls his van and he pulls out all the professional spray gear. Big, huge compressor. And then I was using electric, and he pulls out all these pneumatic sanders And we go at it again, and we're getting it down to basically a mere finish. It's absolutely beautiful. Then and I looked at my Bondo and says, that Bondo is, ugh. So what he does, and he manufactures a piece to make the curve exactly match the curve on my other side. My truck's out there if you want to see the curve, how he did it. It was really amazing. And then we had to pull out all the windows. I learned how to pop a window out of a truck. You just use a piece of string and go around, and two guys can actually pull a window out. We pulled everything else. How long do you think it takes to tape a truck up? 20 minutes? Any idea? 5 hours. 5 hours. And you have to use a special green tape so it won't bleed or leak. And around it, and then the same thing around the tires and everything. So now we're ready. Now, once you get past the Mike, he's actually a super knowledgeable person about paints because he grew up in a paint and body shop. And when you are spray painting, you have 3 variables. You have temperature, you have humidity, and you have airflow. And that's why you do it in an enclosed shop on it to control all of the variables. We're doing it basically outside. I just have plastic around, and it's actually blowing, the normal blowing about 5 miles an hour. And so the whole trick of what he's doing is he's adjusting the various nozzles so it will spray at exactly the right length to have the pattern flow. He comes on out and he pulls on a full hazmat suit with an oxygen tank. This is really professional, out there on my farm. And then a hood and goggles. And one of the things that's so amazing to watch this is that, let's just be real, women are a lot more graceful than men, just flat on out. But when you put men and machines and they're combined, there's a grace to the dance that they do. And he started the spray paint dance. No overspray, no double spray, no spotting or anything like this. And it's just even coating. Now you start with the base coat, have to let that dry. You come on back and you do the finish coat, have to let that dry, then you do a clear coat. We got that done, let it dry. And then we have put on a special type of wax that he helped invent that polymerizes everything and makes everything super tight. So what happened is that I went from a junkyard dog to a really pretty truck. Thank you.
Thank you.